The Awesome Town Sound Podcast is a production of Radio Free Santa Clarita, a 501c3 nonprofit organization on a mission to educate, inform, and entertain the public of Santa Clarita. Please consider making a tax-deductible donation or consider an underwriting sponsorship of shows like the Awesome Town Sound Podcast. For more information, email us at radiofreesantaclarita@gmail.com. Call us at 661-464-5132 or visit us online at radiofreesantaclarita.org. This is the Awesome Town Sound Podcast for the second week of April 2019. My name is Lee Huber. And our mission here at the Awesome Town Sound Podcast is to help cultivate the Santa Clarita music scene and to be your guide for all the music and arts events happening in and around the SCV. On this week's episode, we talk to AlesiaXO and find out what inspired her to write what may be the definitive song about Santa Clarita. You know, I couldn't think of a better song to kick off the very first episode of the ATS podcast than Alesia's song Awesome Town. You know, I'm tempted to make it the official theme song of this show. We'll listen to the full song in just a moment, but first, let's do a rundown of this week's music events in Santa Clarita. Kicking off the week tonight, Wednesday, April 10th, the Borderline Country Nights at the Canyon Club here in Santa Clarita. This Wednesday and every Wednesday, they have DJs spinning the latest and greatest country hits. Get your line dancing on starting at 6 p.m., but be aware this is an 18 and over event. If you don't know how to line dance, then tomorrow, Thursday, April 11th, there'll be line dancing lessons with Candy Sherwin, part of Thursdays at New Hall's Jam Session. After the lesson, you can practice your new dance steps as you listen to the Mary White Band. That all starts at 7 p.m. at the New Hall Community Center in Old Town New Hall. And Thursday night, can you believe The Temptations with original member Otis Williams will be at the Canyon. This is going to be a huge show. Doors open at 6 p.m. and the show starts at 9. This will be like a once-in-a-lifetime event. Very cool. Friday night, April 12th, Dole Humphreys will be at Alchemy at 6 p.m. The Griswolds will be at Wolf Creek Brewery at 6:30 p.m. and the Yacht Groove will be at the Canyon at 9 p.m. Saturday, take a little drive up to Castaic for their first ever Gnome Festival. That's this weekend at Castaic Lake. In addition to live music courtesy of Right Side Up and the Sean Hughes Band, they're going to have a half marathon, a 5K run, a kids' gnome parade, a beer garden, food trucks, free pancake breakfast, movie night. This will be a very fun event. For more information, check out castaictowncouncil.org. And also, the Cowboy Festival. That'll take place Saturday and Sunday. They're going to have 5 stages with more than 20 music acts. Bluegrass, folk music, western, country, Americana. That's all between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. both Saturday and Sunday. It's a free event, free parking, and they have a free shuttle to William S. Hart Park. Be sure to park over at 22400 13th Street. For a whole lineup of everyone playing at the Cowboy Festival, check out cowboyfestival.org/performers. Also, Saturday night, Led Zeppelin will be at the Canyon. Doors open at 6 p.m. for that. The Future Ex-Husbands will be at Pocock Brewing from 6 to 9 p.m. Rory Selden with Intercessions will be at Vincenzo's in New Hall. That's at 7:30. And Dole Humphreys will be at the Salt Creek Grill for late night happy hour at 9 p.m. And to wrap up the week on Sunday, April 14th, the Fulcos will be at the Saugus Swap Meet at 10 a.m. on Sunday. Savannah Burrows will be singing during Sunday brunch at the Canyon, as she does every week, around 11:30 a.m. Sunday night at Vincenzo's, Lottie Arnold will be taking the stage around 5:30 p.m. And the Santa Clarita Valley Blues Society will be hosting a blues jam at the American Legion Post 507. That's next door to the Old Town New Hall Library. Go get your jam on from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Bands, if you have an upcoming event that you'd like to promote on the Awesome Town Sound, email the show with all the details at theatownsound@gmail.com or leave a note on our Facebook page. Alesia Humphreys, a.k.a. AlesiaXO, is a force to be reckoned with. You know, when I was thinking about which local artists to approach to be on the debut episode of the Awesome Town Sound podcast, I knew I had to get the artist who has her fingers on the pulse of our amazing town. You'll find Alesia playing all over Santa Clarita, sometimes solo, or sometimes with her songwriting partner Steve Dole, where the two perform together as Dole Humphreys. She calls the SCV home, but I caught up with her after a whirlwind trip to Austin, Texas, for a performance at South by Southwest. Here's our interview with AlesiaXO.
I'm Alesia Humphreys, also known as AlesiaXO. I have been performing my whole life, pretty much. I did take about a 10-year hiatus. A few years ago, I reached out to a friend who turned out to be my songwriting partner, Steve Dole, and asked if we could collaborate, and he said, absolutely. So we wrote a few songs together. He wanted to know what we were going to do with the songs, and I said, I'm going to perform them. So we started performing them as a duo called Dole Humphreys, and then we recruited a few other fellas and made it a band. When things looked like we were going to start touring, we kind of had to rearrange a few things, and still performing our originals and releasing them as AlesiaXO so that we could tour. We play, I like to call it rock and soul. There's some blues in there. I don't really know how to pin down what the style is. I guess I feel like if Etta James and Bonnie Raitt and Melissa Etheridge and Tina Marie all had a baby, I would be their baby. My aspirations as an artist are definitely do more, be better, give more, just do more. I seriously see myself touring the world. I'd love to think of myself as somebody that lifts other people up. I'd love to make that a movement if I could. I'd love to be able to look out at a sea of people and have them all feel what I feel about them, which is that they're all amazing. Sounds dumb when I say it out loud, but it is what it is. Things that I've succeeded at. Well, I've been successful as a wife. I've been successful as a mother. And I feel like I'm pretty successful as a human. Just like all of us, we all make mistakes and learn from them and move on. As far as music goes, I feel like playing at South by Southwest was really big. I've made a few strides, way back when A&R was in my life, and I've done a few things that are pretty cool that mean nothing now, but, starting over and working with a songwriting partner, Steve Dole, and creating some fun songs, kind of handing an almost stranger your soul and having him do the same and actually create something good. I feel like that was the first step in moving forward. What inspires my songwriting? I think that I just have to say everything from personal moments, emotions, even just looking out a window at somebody and seeing a look in their eye, and it kind of makes me imagine what they're thinking in that moment, and I write about that. Oftentimes a phrase will inspire my songwriting, and I'll be like, yes, that touches something that I feel like I can understand. Other times it's situations that are going on around me and that I see are kind of comical, which is what brought us to Awesome Town, the song. This song started out just as an idea. I was reading something in some local publications, and, I've known about the Awesome Town moniker since it became a moniker. I know the person who came up with it. I know all of that. I know the history behind it. I know that it is a marketing campaign, and I dig it. So Awesome Town really is just poking fun at a town that I happen to live in, and taking the little snippets of things that you hear, people making fun of your town or people saying this about your town and all of that kind of stuff, and putting it all together. And it kind of just wrote itself. It came up with this idea. Coasters, swingers, mommies, right-wingers, and I started writing that down, which is part of the chorus, and it wrote itself in like 5 minutes. I mean, it wasn't that hard lyrically. Of course, I needed Steve Dole's genius to make it into an actual song, and so I sent him the lyrics, and he came up with the song. So Awesome Town is definitely inspired by our town, but it is also probably pretty meaningful to anybody in any town.
And now, Awesome Town by AlesiaXO on the Awesome Town Sound Podcast.
Old dead cowboys
For more information about AlesiaXO, visit AlesiaXO.com. That's AlesiaXO.com. You can also find her on Facebook and follow her on Spotify. Purchase her music at iTunes, Amazon Music, Google Play, and CD Baby. And hey, there are 2 chances to catch Alesia live this weekend. Dole Humphreys will be at Alchemy this Friday, April 12th at 8:30 p.m. And Alesia will also be at the Salt Creek Grill on Saturday, April 13th at 9 p.m. Thank you for listening to the Awesome Town Sound Podcast. We are a production of Radio Free Santa Clarita. For more information, visit radiofreesantaclarita.org. You can keep up with all the local music events that we mention here by visiting the Awesome Town Sound Facebook page. And if you enjoyed our show, please tell your friends about it on social media. Tell your friends to subscribe because the bigger this music community gets, the better. We live in an awesome town with awesome artists, awesome bands, and awesome fans. So keep on listening to the Awesome Town Sound.